She spat in his face and called him a slave. 30 seconds later, she lay defeated. The arena roared with savage cheers. Metal walls vibrated with the stomp of countless alien feet. The stench of blood and oil hung in the air, mingling with the acrid scent of burning torches mounted high above the fighting pit. At the center of the arena, a human man stood silent. His battered armor bore scars from countless battles, yet his stance was relaxed, almost careless. His name was Kale, a soldier once feared across multiple star systems, now captured and sold into slavery by the very aliens he used to fight. Across from him stood his opponent, General Lyra the Vexery, a towering alien woman with sharp obsidian skin and eyes that glowed a molten gold. She was infamous for never losing a duel and for mocking her opponents as they bled out beneath her boots. Today, she intended to humiliate the human brought into her pit. A slave? Lyra sneered, stepping forward. Her taloned fingers gripped a serrated blade. They send me a slave to fight? This isn't combat, this is insult. Kale didn't answer. He simply wiped sweat from his brow and waited for the signal to begin. Lyra's smirk widened. She closed the distance, towering over him. Then, without warning, she spat in his face, a sizzling liquid that hissed on his cheek like acid but left only a faint burn. Crawl for me, human, she mocked, circling him. Show me how low your kind has fallen. The crowd roared in approval. Kale calmly wiped the spit from his face. His blue eyes never wavered. He spoke for the first time, voice quiet but steady. Are you done talking? Lyra's grin twisted into fury. I'll make you beg. The horn sounded. The fight began. The first strike. Lyra moved first, impossibly fast for her size. Her blade screeched against Kale's gauntlet as he blocked, sparks flying. The impact would have shattered an ordinary man's arm, but Kale didn't flinch. Instead, he twisted his body, using her momentum to shove her back. The crowd gasped. No one had ever pushed the general off balance. Lucky move, Lyra snarled. She lunged again, this time with a flurry of precise slashes aimed at Kale's throat and chest. Kale sidestepped, ducked, and parried each strike. Not with brute force, but with measured precision. Every motion was efficient, calm. He had seen her style before, wild aggression, meant to overwhelm opponents quickly. 30 seconds had passed. She hadn't landed a single blow. The turning point. Frustration twisted Lyra's face. With a roar, she raised her blade for a killing strike, leaving her chest exposed for a fraction of a second. That was all Kale needed. He stepped inside her guard, grabbed her wrist, and twisted sharply. The blade clattered to the ground. In the same motion, his knee slammed into her abdomen, knocking the wind from her lungs. Before she could recover, Kale swept her legs out from under her and pressed his knee to her throat, pinning her to the ground. The entire arena went silent. Lyra's golden eyes widened in disbelief. The human she had mocked, the slave she had spat on, had defeated her in less than 30 seconds. Silence and shock. Kale didn't kill her. He didn't even strike again. He simply held her there, breathing steadily, his voice low but cutting. Next time you spit in someone's face, he murmured, make sure they can't stand back up. The words cut deeper than any blade. The horn sounded again, signaling victory. Chains were thrown into the pit, meant for Kale, but now no one dared approach. The crowd was too stunned, their cheers replaced by murmurs. Kale rose slowly and released her. Lyra lay on the ground, gasping for breath. Her pride shattered more than her body. After the arena, they threw Kale back into cell that night, but whispers already spread to the camp. The human who defeated the undefeated general. Soldiers avoided his gaze. Guards who once taunted him now kept their distance. But it wasn't over. Hours later, footsteps echoed down the corridor. The cell door slid open, and Lyra herself stepped inside. Her armor was gone. She wore only a simple tunic, her posture stiff with restrained fury. Kale didn't rise from where he sat on the floor. He simply looked at her. "Come to spit on me again?" he asked dryly. She flinched. For the first time, she had no retort. "You humiliated me," she said finally, voice low. "No one has ever done that." "You humiliated yourself," Kale replied. "I just gave you the mirror." For a long moment, silence hung between them. Then unexpectedly, she bowed her head. "Teach me?" Kale blinked. "What?" "Teach me how you fight," Lyra said, golden eyes burning with a different fire now, not hatred, but something closer to respect. "I cannot stand to be weaker than anyone, especially not you." An unlikely bond. Days turned to weeks. Against all odds, Lyra returned to the arena not to fight Kale, but to train with him. At first, it was tense. She still bristled at every correction, and he mistrusted her every move. But slowly, a strange understanding formed between them. Kale taught her patience. She taught him the art of alien weaponry. They sparred daily, pushing each other past exhaustion. One night, after a particularly brutal session, Lyra sat beside him in silence, blood streaking her arm. "You didn't have to spare me that day," she said softly. "I know." "Why did you?" Kale looked at her, truly looked at her. "Because I'm not your slave, and you're not my enemy." Lyra's golden eyes softened, and for the first time, she smiled not in mockery, but in something dangerously close to affection. The escape. When rebellion broke out in the slave pits, Kale and Lyra fought side by side. Together, they cut through enemy lines, protecting each other without hesitation. The woman who once spat in his face now shielded him with her own body, and Kale, once her prisoner, carried her from the flames when she was wounded. By the time the smoke cleared, neither saw the other as alien. Epilogue. Years later, travelers whispered of a strange pair roaming the stars, a human warrior and a Vexry general who fought not against each other, but together. Some called them mercenaries. Others called them legends. But those who saw them up close knew the truth. The hatred that began with spit and insults had transformed into something unbreakable, a bond stronger than any chain.